Welcome back. This segment of our show is brought to you by Games and Things. And during the last couple of months doing the hangout at home thing, I've been watching movie after movie. And for that reason, I am so glad I bought a pair of home theater seats from Games and Things just last August. They are comfortable as can be. They have a tremendous selection and great pricing. They are the home theater seating experts in East Tennessee. Get out there, see for yourself. Check them out also at ourgameroom.com. Games and Things. The good folks, Scott and Lisa Mellon. Get out and see them. All right, we talked expectations in the last segment. Let me ask you this one. How close is this roster to exceeding expectations? I think most of us probably look at 8-4 as the expectation for this year. How far is this roster away from being 9-3 or 10-2? What is lacking to do that, or is it right there?
I think it's a tough question because I think if you talk about just purely roster, this is not an 8-4 roster. It's a much better. I think if you gave this roster Clemson's 2019 schedule, they could win 10 games. I really do think that. But they got to get better play out of the quarterback spot. They need a little bit more depth on a few of the defensive positions, but they're improved a lot. The problem is obviously the schedule. You got 4 games that you're going to probably be a touchdown or more underdog in, and can you win one of those? Could they? Yeah, I think they got to be competitive in those games. But the roster is in really good shape. But just that schedule, you're not quite there yet.
I think you got question marks at receiver as well. You've got talent there, you would think, but you haven't seen it together with this quarterback. So that whole passing offense thing is a big question mark at this point. Mike, your thoughts on how far this team is away from actually being 9-3, 10-2?
I agree with David. If you gave this roster a lot of other schedules, they could be 10-2, but you're playing in the SEC. I'm going to fan the flames here and say, go back to 98. You'd lost all these great players. You had questions at quarterback, and a bunch of guys came up and played really good defense on that team that were not household names. Could this defense
you are fanning the flames.
Yeah, could this defense be good enough to give Jay Garantano or whoever a time to get up to speed? It would have to be just a really best-case wild scenario.
I think the defense is interesting because, for one, they got to figure out middle linebacker. That's an issue. They got to stay healthy there.
Depth is a question.
Yeah, but last year, you look at the way the defense played the last half of the season, they were top 10 defense nationally in every single metric that there is. They were unbelievable, and that's why they were able to win some games. They didn't play great against Kentucky. They played pretty well against Missouri, but there was some ugliness there. Mississippi State, why did they win those games? Because of the defense.
The key there is you were fighting to win those games against the lesser portion of your schedule. So when we're talking about against another schedule, it's not just, you've got 4 really good teams you're playing. The SEC top to bottom is tough. As I said in that last segment, everybody gets upset. So the idea that, Carolina's a win, and this is a win, and that's a win, you can't ever really do that. Not in this league. Yeah. So there's a danger there that I wouldn't be surprised. Florida here, we don't know what the crowd is going to be like at all. But Florida here, you got a chance in that one. Oklahoma has so many question marks, and as we discussed before the show, we don't know what the crowd's going to be like there, so you might catch a break on that end. Those 2, I could see you pulling one of those out, but it's not going to blow my doors off if you stumble to a Missouri or somebody late in the season.
Sure. Yeah, you got to go to South Carolina. I mean, all those games, people are taking those for granted, I think, a little bit. But I will say, dare I say, best chance for Oklahoma or best chance for Tennessee to beat Alabama in quite some time this year. You're playing Alabama, you get them here. I'm not a huge Mac Jones guy. I didn't really like what I saw last year. They seem to be high on him. Tennessee, I mean, they acquitted themselves well in Tuscaloosa last year. I'll say that.
Well, there you go. For those of you who think this show is negative, Mike Strange is predicting a national title. David Upton predicts they'll beat Alabama. So there we go. The mask is really off now. Okay. David, thanks for joining us today. Have a good Memorial Day tomorrow.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
We'll see you in a couple weeks. When we come back, the Tennessee basketball team continues to get much love from the national press. We'll talk about that. We'll look at their schedule. And also, we've still got to come. What is the single best season by a Vol player that we have covered? Me, Mike, and Vince. That's going to be interesting. Come on back on the Sports Source. We'll discuss.